Yes, it is true. I'm casting a 3v3, but that still doesn't mean I don't like 1v1 better. Anyway, this replay was sent in to me by Maze. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'll just say Maze. That's what we all call him. Apparently they make assault cruises and it actually works, and that was enough for me to want to cast the game. So you know, why not? Map is gonna be Kartoba. Anyone who's a fan of Homeworld should recognize this thing, right? Very, very cool map, I guess. It's actually a lot of fun to play on too. It's got a lot of like, how to say, there's no like blockage in the middle except for the the big one, obviously. And then it's got these really like long dunes, which means there's some pretty cool gameplay that you can have like over the dunes there. Whereas the other 3v3 map is always like, oh my gosh, kind of, you know what I mean? That's my opinion anyway. They're actually making a new 3v3 map, not BBI, but the community, out of one of the other missions, which is pretty cool. I think they've actually already got it basically working perfectly, but I haven't checked it out yet, unfortunately. I know, it's ridiculous, but I haven't. But anyway, what are the teams looking like here? We got double Soban. He isn't one too many. And Coalition over here. SSSS, Maze, and Roby playing together. So this is going to be quite a strong team. These are all pretty good players. And then on the other side, we got Saum and Tomcat Xeno. So this guy is definitely the best 3v3 player at the moment. Because, he's him. And actually, oh, is this the game where they all used his colors? Well, no, it's just, oh. But yeah, no, they're not the same color, right? Stupid Conf carrier. I can never tell what color it is. Point is, this is definitely the best Conf player. No, sorry, the best 3v3 player, although he's also a pretty darn good Conf player. Doesn't ever play in 1v1 tournaments, you won't have seen him yet, but this is definitely the guy to watch out for. He's going to be doing the biggest stuff, probably. Serum is really good, too. He's French, though, so I wasn't totally making that up. And then NDM's not bad himself, so this is also going to be a very strong team. I'd probably favor this one, the red team. Just based on what I've seen from these players, but we'll have to see. We will have to see. There's too many carriers for me to really check the tech on these players, so I'm really just going to mention different types of units as they come out, honestly, but that's the case. Looks like Tomcat going to go for the early extraction. There are enough LAVs here to give him some grief, but they're not yet committing. Pushing in now, but the artifact's already been picked up. Tomcat probably just going to pop the smoke. Oh, and a turret too, wow. Might be a bit overkill. He's already got this. I feel like he could put the turret up a little bit further. Since he's got control of this area right here. There is a blast drone already. Second one's going to pop underneath the smoke, which is what you typically do when this kind of stuff's happening. But this is the proper response from... Who is this? Is to just kind of back away and then wait for the drone to pop out and the smoke to end so that you can shoot him down. See here, he's going to kill this probe, didn't take any damage at all, and then he can come in and get the base runner later. Meanwhile, the yellow team is going to extract an artifact. I guess they're team 1, right? I've never cast 3v3 before. It's a little tricky to, like, keep track of all the action going on all different sides here, but something just blew up. It was a drone, though. Nothing special. And it doesn't look like the blast drone's going to be able to get anything done here. That did buy enough time for some sand skimmers to come, who are going to contest all of this. There's no upgrades. No, actually there is sand skimmer raiding over here, but that's the only upgrade on the field so far in this area, so going to be no resolution there, I guess. Not really sure what the word is. It will be indecisive, we can say that. What do you reckon all this gray is here? Because it's very, very flat. I don't know. Anyway, looks like these LAVs over here going for a little bit of a push. In the end, Space Runner here could set up a turret. I'm hearing lots of beeping. Yeah, that's a drone. Still kind of a standoff going on over there. But yeah, these LAVs is kind of moving into position to deny the third. No salvagers there just yet, though. Blast drone's trying to run in with the sand skimmers, but it gets taken out by the freaking turrets. Anyway, so that blast drone is going to get taken out now. Healthy number of LAVs over on this side, but there is a stream of AAVs coming in, like, wow. It's like a snake. You know that game where like you play as the snake and you try not to eat yourself? Behold. Anyway, they're gonna come in here, and it doesn't look like there's anything to deal with this at all, actually. This carrier's on 1 power, so it can do something. Oh, as I say that, there are railguns coming out, but these AVs can smoke and get up to them if they see it. There's some armored units over here too, but they're not daring to go in against those LAVs, which I think makes sense. LAVs are surprisingly good against armored vehicles, just like everything else. Those railguns getting cleaned up. No one's gonna pop out of the carrier, but find himself in an unhappy situation. Looks like a bit of a contest is going on over here. Something blew up, but I don't know what it was. I think that was the artifact, yeah. Not like the artifact itself, but you know, the base runner carrying said artifact. Looks like Maze is straying away from the carrier, which strayed? I don't know. But anyway, that means that the railguns have got an open shot, and we should really smoke off there. Is that a blast drone? No, I don't think so. I think both of the blast drones got cleaned. No, one of them's back here, but the other one got cleaned up, and these 2 assault ships were able to push off the LAVs, but it is too late, as one unit already went down there, the base runner with the artifact. Quite a good number of railguns now. Looks like Maze popped the smoke right at the moment when it actually would hurt him, but that's alright. As these railguns are now going to get high ground and get a little further away before they go down. So miraculously, it looks like NDM's going to hold this. I really think if Maze had just stayed on top of his carrier, all of the new railguns popping out would have just gotten killed, and he'd be able to stay there for some time doing damage to that main. But that's alright. 1 artifact's going to score. Going to bring the scoreline to 1-1. This AAV's still giving chase, but they're not able to catch anything. Because who smoked? Did he smoke? That's interesting. I almost think he was about to get him, but that's alright. Looks like 1 salvager going to go down here, but even then, just barely. Lol, he's not even gonna go down, is he? Okay, he did go down. He did go down, so I noticed it in the bottom left there, but man, that was ridiculous. Siege Cruiser already on the field for Tomcat. What's new, right? It's like his favorite unit. Oh wait, no, it didn't go down. It didn't go down, the AAV died, so I lost vision. Didn't even get the 1 unit. Anyway, that's definitely gonna clean up this turret, but these railguns are doing some serious damage to the Siege Cruiser, and it might even go down. It'd be a pretty bad overcommit if that happens. But no, it's gonna get out of there. Usually you want to send those in with sand skimmers or something. At least in the early game where there's not too many of them. Still has its barrage ability, so it could fire some shots out at those railguns, but it doesn't seem to want to. Whole big flock of LAVs and sand skimmers over here. I believe that beats this number. I'm not sure, although they do have damage upgrades. They've got armor. They've got armor. Not sure who wins that fight then, but it doesn't look like anyone wants to take it. This blast drone could be huge. No, it's going to be noticed. Barrage coming down on these railguns, and it's going to be good. Hope to see the space for smoke up just to avoid some damage, but that's alright. And all those railguns going to get cleaned up, although there were only 3 of them, but still, that's very useful for him. Moving on to his 3rd. He's on his 3rd already. He's moving on to his 3rd just now. Tomcat a little behind in economy unless he's producing a production cruiser right now. It doesn't look like it. Let's see. He's on his 3rd, right? Yeah. And he's moving on his 3rd now. So economies are looking basically equal. Maybe a slight edge to the yellow team. Ah, the base runner almost died. If he's got a barrage left, he can take it out. Yeah, he could just barrage this. I'd love to see that, because you knew there was a carrier here, so there's probably units as well, and this thing is on such low health, you know, it seems almost a crime to let him get out. So Siege Cruiser's coming out from Sauron as well now. Sauron. Good barrage coming down here is going to catch these railguns out. Going to get one of them, probably going to get a second. Artifact goes down, unfortunately, for the red team. Yeah, that's the second. And these sand skimmers have found a decent angle on the railguns, but there are ALMs here, so it's going to be a little tricky to get too much damage in. But there is nothing actually to hold it off, so I guess it's going to be fine. Actually, this Soban carrier beginning to take a lot of damage now. And it's got really no power to put into armor either, which is pretty typical. Most factions, you know, you want to power up your carrier because it's like a freaking death machine, but the Soban carrier is like trash, so no one ever powers it up really. they get power reserves to get the ALMs powered up, but that's kind of later on in the game. Whereas these players, I'd expect to already see it pretty hot. Actually, Tomcat with no power yet. But most players, he's got no power. Don't tell me I'm wrong again. Okay, he's got power. And he's Sylvan. Yes, so majority rules. I was correct. The Sylvan players do get their power reserves later, generally. Look at my frame rate, it's so bad. It's like 10 frames per second. Anyway, a little bit of a fight going on right here. Just turning off the UI help my frame rate? Yeah, a little bit. It was that barrage that was doing it. I should really just turn my settings down, but I don't want to. I was promised assault cruisers. Where are they? Maybe they're gonna take out the siege cruisers. It's a possible counter if it's microed really well. Sylvan Railgun shooting at the wrong unit as usual. Let's see. Power Reserve 5 not yet researched here. The Coalition player is gonna be the big hitter, of course, because of that nuke. They're basically like the best in 3v3 because of that. Frame rate plummets, but anyway, these LAVs found a good angle on the Sandskimmers, but of course they can't push into the siege cruisers because they'll die. Siege cruisers, as typical, performing quite well against railguns. What do they not perform well against? Taking them all down to about health, they're really only one barrage away from death. It's only one barrage away. Alright, enough of that nonsense. Bunch of support cruisers coming out for this guy, SSSS, right? So maybe he's going for carrier power into like a Death Hammer on this Con-F player. This is gonna be tricky with all these siege cruisers around. And there's a lot of barrages coming down on him. These Sandskimmers really not in a happy place, getting killed. See here, I really feel these railguns ought to be barraged. I mean, I guess he doesn't totally know where they are, but he should figure it out. Plus he has EMP, he can lock them in place for that. And that would obviously just be really good. Tomcat not gotten his EMP research in just yet. Gonna slowly tickle this probe to death. Yeah, siege cruisers actually have anti-air. I don't know if you knew that. It's pretty minor, but they do actually have it. Aha! Here's what we came for. Assault cruisers. Looks like he's overcharged them. And they do take out one siege cruiser already. The barrage comes down on the railguns, like I was saying, but it misses a little bit, so it didn't get him. EMP use would have been better right there. What's going on this side? Looks like these siege support cruisers getting kind of out of position here. But carrier powers are 5 is on its. No, he canceled it to go for production there. How are my assault cruisers doing? Oh my gosh, look at my frame rate. Hold up. We got to. You can see I've got everything on maximum right here. Let's set these to low, because that's what's gonna do like siege cruisers and stuff. We're up to about 14 now. These support cruisers got very. Oh, it looks like it just died suddenly. Yeah, siege cruiser. One goes down very low. 3 assault cruisers now out on the field, and I guess that makes sense because we really just been seeing a bunch of Sandskimmers and a bunch of siege cruisers here. Look at these. Yeah, these are from Tomcat. He's gone for railguns as well. I like that actually quite a lot because railguns are obviously important. You can usually get away with not making them in 1v1, but like I really like it when people go for assault ships and railguns. It makes it very difficult to crack little blob there. Things are pretty darn cool looking though, aren't they? Maybe reducing the texture quality changes the frame rate a bit more. We can turn shadows off, that'll help. Kartoba and Stunning HD. No, that didn't help the frame rate at all, actually. So I have a feeling that it's not got to do with, hasn't got to do with the, like, actual frame rate limitations as far as, graphics and stuff goes. It's probably an issue just with how many units are out on the field right now. Which is understandable because in a normal 3v3 you only can see half of them at a time, so. One siege cruiser gonna get wrecked there. Cruise missiles coming out from the Salon player. No, it's a coalition player, isn't it? And it's gonna do some good damage against those LAVs, but it's really quite a miss. Wow. Look at that high detail cruise missile explosion. Now what's going on over here? Just only support cruisers. What more does he need, you know? He has got power level 5 though, so a nuke like right here would be devastating and very difficult to dodge. And here it comes. It's gonna land on the siege cruisers. No way they can dodge this. They all get taken down very low. He should press the advantage now, although he's on very low health, I suppose. In fact, he might go down even. Oh yeah, he's gonna go down. Here's a tip. Siege cruisers do nothing against full armor. Like, nothing at all. So, just set your armor to full. And then you'll be fine, basically. You even have auto-healing in that case. The assault cruisers, wow! I found an excellent angle in here. And one thing a lot of people don't know is that assault cruisers has actually killed carriers, like, pretty well. A little awkward that some of them are over the dune here, but that's alright. Especially with high ground, but you can see how much damage it does. This is going to be a dead carrier. Good show. What else is going on? This carrier being forced off in the middle of nowhere. Just like, power and weapons not really doing you anything right here. You should definitely put that out and put it into armor. But that carrier's going to go down, right? Yes, it did indeed go down. And watch the explosion in stunning HD. It's like invisible, there's no explosion. And now suddenly this carrier feels very out of position. Yeah, there's full power and weapons, like, and armor, like I was saying. And this BC is going to start tearing lines through these siege cruisers, but there's a lot of railguns here. So this is looking definitely not so good for SSSSSSS, our good friend. Although these LAVs coming in to try to deal with the railguns, but there are assault ships in here, like I was saying, that's a good combo. There's also a siege cruiser. It's looking unlikely for SSSS to survive. But this carrier, really out of position. There's a Saban battlecruiser chewing at him. Now these assault cruisers coming in, there's 6 of them. Mass assault cruiser, look at this. I will say, assault cruisers are very good in FFAs, where like you don't know what you're going to be up against, because they can kind of handle anything. But showing its value here against the Con F, I suppose, because they can't get away, you know, they don't have that speed upgrade. Not as slippery as the Galzian are. Gonna take out all these AAVs for some reason, not totally sure why. Really, the railguns are the priority target right here. And he knows that, he's going after them. Using those missiles to get the damage dump onto the carrier. Although he canceled it, or they did not fire any missiles. Assault cruiser sucks, don't ever use it. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but that carrier is very low. I'd like to actually see him give chase, but there's a lot of railguns in the way. What, this carrier's alive? Okay, it's going down just now. I was gonna say, like, for sure those railguns are gonna deal with it. But based on this crater right here... No, that's a green crater. What happened to the railguns? What the heck? I'm thinking he cruise missiled them, but I don't know. Anyway, he does go down eventually, but Tomcat is gonna lose his entire army for it, so... He is vulnerable. There's kind of a window for the green team to push in now. I rather feel they should have been able to kill this carrier, but not having a coalition player left to do the cruise missile, which means I feel, by the way, that since this carrier is definitely going to go down anyway, cruise missile on this carrier would have actually killed it, so that would have definitely been the better move. But anyway, they were not able to finish that one out. But things are still looking very good on this flank. They basically just have to worry about Tomcat. These 2 BCs going to try to back out of there, and they'll be fine so long as the carrier doesn't give chase, because, you know, they have 25 armor, so I mean, Sand Skimmers do 1 damage per shot against them, not very effective. These ALMs stunning the Sand Skimmers, going to get them to not push in, but not going to be able to do any damage. Of course, that threat still exists. I think a lot of times when people see armed logistics modules, though, they don't push in because they're afraid. But it's like, sometimes there's just nothing to be afraid of. After all, they cost 250 CUs, so even if those Sand Skimmers, all they were able to do on that push was kill the ALM and then back away, that's still better than nothing. Makes a big difference, actually. These sand skimmers are going to come in here. Now, this is a target they can fight. But they're not going to do any damage and then back away. It's kind of funny. They do basically die, like, in one shot, so it kind of makes sense, you know, I can get it. This support cruiser doing a bang-up job healing all these units here. But that's alright. There's a massive flock of assault cruisers, and these sand skimmers are going to the wrong place. They know it, they're going to back away. But this represents a significant thing to deal with. And just like the Con F Siege Cruiser, when it's massed up like this, it's real difficult to counter it. Unlike the Con F Siege Cruiser, it doesn't have the barrage ability, so railguns are still a very, very viable counter, whereas against the Siege Cruiser they are still the counter, but it's more difficult. Actually, Battle Cruiser's missing like every shot. Whoa, what blew up there? Oh, that was a det pack, wow. Nicely done. Those are very difficult to hit with salvagers, because the timing on them is like so bad. And then they're just gonna kind of stand here and admire. Maybe they're just getting line of sight, I don't know. But anyway, like I was saying, the barrage ability allows Con F Siege Cruisers to deal with railguns, which are their primary counter. And so it's like, well, what can deal with this other than siege, basically? But even that is difficult. But assault cruisers don't have that ability, so railguns are a good counter to them. So it's good that he's staying behind this hill. Bit of awkward support cruiser acrobatics there, and one of them does go down, but he'll be just fine. SSSS, this is his force now. That support cruiser's getting chewed up, but it did not go down. Let's see, MDM's carrier taking a lot of damage once again. I assume it's by those Sorbonne battle cruisers. I'd love to see him push out, because what's the counter to assault cruisers is railguns. So they're going to be here, which means that they're not going to be here, right? Just process of elimination right there. So these battle cruisers are free to push in and take out this carrier, possibly even, but if not, you know, at least take him off of his bases. I feel that'd be really good. Normally, LAVs can't run into a carrier like this, but of course this is a spawn carrier. It's a trash carrier, in other words. So he can't do any damage to them. So he's fine to do that. Oh boy, the Maze has found the other Con F player. Now Tomcat's going to prove to be a more difficult opponent than the other guy, Sarum, that was it, because he's well versed in the ways of the Con F. He knows what he's doing. And it looks like he's going to get away from it, actually. And actually do a really good job taking out these assault cruisers, too. These railguns wander way too close. They just get murderers. Ouch. Yeah, that was not good. And actually, with that falling, this whole flank is very open again. Those assault cruisers have done, like, so much for this team. It's kind of hard to, like, see it, really. And look, even the battle cruisers coming in from the flank, too. But, the timing was a little bit off there, it seems. You're gonna get more det packs? Right there or something. Yeah, they got launched. Ah, they're not bad, but they do almost no damage, so I'm not surprised there. But yeah, these assault cruisers have done so much good for the green team here because of the way that they've been, like, taking out all the eco. And now these BCs here have found their way in. Yeah, and he's gonna push up. I'd love to see him just stay on this side of the dune so he can attack the carrier as well. Go for it, please, my friend. What's going on with these assault cruisers? Not too much. This has got to be a misplay, in my opinion, because you know the Sorbonne carrier does nothing, and the Con F carrier is very, very spiky because of those cruise missiles. So I would be a little, yeah, I don't know about going in there. Looks like this battle cruiser gonna get caught out by the missiles from the Con F carrier there. It's gonna go down with a support cruiser following it, but he's still moving in. I don't know about this. He's definitely moving into his death right there. But on this side of the map, they're taking out this carrier. Probably, anyway. There's a lot of rails here, but I still don't think it'll amount to much. Oh, smoke up, smoke up, smoke up. My boy, you gotta smoke up! He's not gonna do it. And we haven't seen, like, many cruise missiles at all from the red team. One of them was launched, I can see, but I don't know where it went. I feel like cruise missiles would have been a lot better, though. Especially because they take out things like assault cruisers in one shot, right? So he could have cruise missiled the assault cruisers when his ally was dying. That would have been pretty good. Once again, this carrier, this battlecruiser could have smoked, which would mean that the railguns can't shoot the other two. Battlecruiser smoke is a misunderstood ability. Carrier's very, very low. I bet you wish you had, you know, a coalition player to nuke him. Anyway, microwave emitter could actually probably kill this carrier if they had it, but they don't. But you can imagine 2 microwave emitters right there, and then you can just leave because he's gonna die. Like, there's no way to get out of it. He's salvaging his railguns? Yeah, he's retiring the railguns. I don't really know why. This one was not able to find the center of mass of the carrier, though, so it's gonna go down. These siege cruisers gonna bombard over here. The missiles all disappearing because of how low I have my settings set. Yeah, the assault cruisers ought to be able to finish this one off too. Woohoo for assault cruisers. I'd like to point out with full power and armor, once again, the assault cruiser will do 1 damage per shot. So that very much did not have to be a death right there. Like, just 1 power and armor and he would have basically, or what, 2 more chips of power and armor and he would have been invulnerable to that attack there. But that's alright. It is 3v3 after all, so it doesn't matter. Oh, boom! I'm just kidding, but that is kind of how I feel. Anyway, these siege cruisers pushing in here. And at the moment, there's nothing to deal with it, but the fact that it's now like a 2-on-1, you know, tells me it's not going to go very well for Tomcat. He'll give it his best, though. He's pretty good in this kind of scenario. Base is beginning to be mined out, I would assume. Actually, a bunch of sand skimmers from Sarum. Hey, still in the game, huh? Oh, even when you kill us, we are still in the game. But yeah, they're doing a good job taking out the eco a little bit here, getting logistics modules, which is actually very significant. They're expensive to replace, and once you can get enough of them, you know, your opponent cannot make any units. So it's definitely good. Saban battlecruiser is getting produced here, which is definitely what he needs to take out this force. These BCs getting chipped down mercilessly by the carrier, but looks like they've exited line of sight, so he does not know where they are anymore. I think he could still guess, though. I'd love to see him still firing. But now that they're shooting, he'll know. Spam that X button, Tom. Oh, excellent hits right there. Excellent hits. Those one's gonna miss, but that's alright. The missile barrage is almost good. Not quite. And that barrage from the siege cruiser is going to take out those units right there. Now his carrier is very low. He's probably going to start healing pretty soon. There are Soban battlecruisers coming after him now. And these siege cruisers out of position right here, because they're going to do very little damage to this. Yeah, you see that? Like, definitely significant, but not near as much as it should be, you know, for like a battle. For a siege cruiser. However, with the aid of the carrier's barrage, they're going to get out of this anyway. A whole bunch of LAVs are coming in here from the side from Roby. Hey, down but not out, right? Unless this, no, yeah, he's a spawn player. Never mind. Yeah, I think SSSS is just totally dead, but I'm not sure. Cool, I yawned. Sorry. That tells you how much I think this game is over, right? But you know, moving in with the carrier, like I was saying, I mean, it does nothing. It's a Soban carrier, so you're not going to get any benefit out of that. This is like the one way you could lose. Just put all that power in armor and just kind of forget that you tried that. My boy, put the power in the armor, my boy! What are you doing? Oh no. Oh no. Well, that was senseless. Yeah, okay. Pro tip of the day. Anyone seen Husky StarCraft? Yeah, don't do that. The Savan carrier is trash at like combat. This is something we're trying to address in the balance patch. Yeah, we haven't gotten to balancing that part just yet because changing carrier power is very difficult for some reason. But yeah, someone carrier's trash, so don't move out into the front line with it. Just never do that, and keep the power either here or here. It doesn't really belong anywhere else. That should change with time, but for now that is the case. Like I was saying, this is what Tomcat is good at. You know, people like he's in a 1v2 now, and he'll just like play well, whereas everyone else, I guess, thinks like, oh, 1v2, you lose now, and they just kind of click on his carrier, and then like they die, and they're like, what happened? It's pretty good at that kind of stuff. He's beginning to accrue damage, of course, because he hasn't really had time to heal up, but there's something blowing up. Oh dears, getting his eco rated. Right. Well, this game really should have been over already anyway, because they've got total field control here, and like the time's run out, so they don't even need to get 5 artifacts. Just 1 and they would have won already. Also, Q do attack the carrier, so it's not even shooting at the support cruiser. It's pretty funny. Okay, he's noticed it. But yeah, Tomcat's carry getting very, very low now. He'll have all the space in the world to heal if he can just clear out this one attack here, but he may die before that happens, honestly. Plus his eco has gotten completely raided. Yeah, this carrier's gonna go down. Now, all 3 carrier kills were done by assault cruisers. Way to go, Noah. I can see why he sent this in, though. That's very funny. Because assault cruisers, in case any of you don't know this, and I can turn my graphics quality up now, of course. Before I do any talking, graphics quality time, man. Ultra high. Ultra high. But yeah, in case any of you didn't know this, assault cruisers are like the awkward, hated cousin of DOK right now. Like, no one likes these things because they're trash, really. I mean, they they have like a large amount of health compared to the, you know, a railgun or something like that. But the big problem is that they're a cruiser. They're fast for a cruiser, but they're still a cruiser, so they're pretty slow, which makes them vulnerable against railguns, and they have no like long range option. And so their damage output is still pretty good, but they're low health, and the price of their real ability, which is the tactical missile thing, and the fact that using one of these causes all of them to be activated, and therefore you wait for the cooldown, means that a lot of people really just stay away from this unit entirely. If the situation arises where it's like a good counter to the units on the field, you should definitely get them, because they're actually really, really good at what they do. Of course, 18 armor means that or, well, I mean, I guess that's plus 3 armor when they... Plus 3 armor at rank 1. Dang. Anyway, 15 armor means that sand skimmers do, like, no damage to these things at all. And their weapon is, like, from the assault ship for the Galzian, so they do tons of damage to that kind of a unit. And they also counter, like, AAVs and assault ships because they're the same type of unit, except, hey, look, I've got 2,700 health, so, you know, there's no contest there either. So... they're super good against those 2 types of units, and so if your opponent goes for like sand skimmers and assault ships and you're already on this tech, like, yeah, build them for sure. Plus they then lead into artillery cruisers, which are basically good in every scenario. So kind of underloved, but also underpowered. And that also is getting addressed in the balance patch, so. That was a fun game though, the way that like all 3 carriers are killed by the assault ships. Wasn't really too much else to see other than that, except for my frame rate dropping to ridiculous levels, but still, I appreciate the replay. And by the way, I will cast replays if you send them to me. So go ahead and send me some replays where you do something cool, or you think something funny happens, or a unit goes flying 50 kilometers in the air, I don't know. I'll cast it. I'm always open to do that, so. Thanks for sending me in the replay maze. Rip your carrier, but that was totally your fault, and I'll see you later.